Hello, everyone. Good morning. If you are hearing any barking, that would be any of our six dogs. So, just disclaimer, there will be barking in the background. So, for today, we'll be talking about the first part of Unit 2 for CHY 30 College Chemistry. Unit 2 is about atoms, molecules, and ions. In particular, for this video, we'll talk about the Dalton's atomic theory and the other experiments and theories that led to the modern atomic structure that we know of today. We'll also be talking about the basic laws of matter, such as laws of conservation, the law of multiple proportion, the law of definite composition. And then after that, we'll look into the modern view of the atomic structure and we'll talk about the subatomic particles to lead into the second part of the unit 2, which will be all about the atom itself, like how to represent a specific atom of an element, etc. But that is for the next videos. Okay, so we'll start here accordingly with Democritus, who described that the material world is made up of tiny indivisible parts. He also coined the term atomos, meaning uncuttable, from where we got the term that we're using today, atom. At this point, the idea of a small particle, which is indivisible, was already common. It was already given, but it was forgotten, kind of, during the time of Plato and Aristotle. It was brought up again during John Dalton's time in around 1803 to 1807. John Dalton came up with the atomic theory. So, what does the atomic theory say? So, for the Dalton's atomic theory, there are four postulates. There are four parts to it. So, starting with the first, in which he says that each element is composed of extremely small particles called atoms. Then, number two, all atoms of a given element are identical, but the atom of one element are different from the atoms of other elements. So, how do we interpret that exactly? So, di ba, gikan ka Democritus, there are small particles which are called atomos. So, mo na siya dito nag-build sa iyang theory, nagsugod um, si Dalton here with number one. We know now na dili jud siya exactly pinakagamay ang atoms nga kuan nga muna na siya pinakagamay nga unit in the universe. We know that there are subatomic particles and there are bosons, there are quarks, which are technically not particles, but in this during his time in the 1700s, mo pa ni siya ang nga limits of the scientific knowledge and the technology. So they think that each element, the smallest unit in the universe is called an atom, and then each element is composed of extremely small particles called atoms. Then all the atoms of a given element are identical. So all the atoms for oxygen have the same properties as well as for nitrogen. So lahi ang property sa nitrogen, lahi ang property sa oxygen. But all the atoms for a particular element will have the same properties. Next, the third postulate says that atoms of one element cannot be changed into atoms of a different element by chemical reactions. Atoms are neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. So, the important thing here is Dalton forwarded or proposed the idea that dili na to ma-change, ma-transmute ang oxygen lugar, oxygen na atom into a nitrogen atom. Dili na to malahi iyahang identity sa element. Uso man gud sa una, when alchemy was still a thing, that they think that copper can be transformed into iron and other metals can be transformed into gold and other more precious metals. So he put forward the idea na dili ni siya pwedeng mahitabo in a chemical reaction. You cannot change the identity of an element. You cannot create or destroy an element during a chemical reaction. So, para kang Dalton, that is not the thing. You cannot do that. Last postulate that he put forward was that compounds are formed when atoms of more than one element combine, and the given compound always has the same number of a given compound always has the same relative number and kind of atoms. So if you take an atom of nitrogen and oxygen and then you make it react to form a molecule of nitrogen monoxide, all compounds of nitrogen monoxide will always have one N and then one O. You will not have a nitrogen monoxide nga duha ang oxygen. Okay? A given compound always has the same relative number and kinds of atoms. So wala po kayo makita nga nitrogen monoxide nga naay chlorine. Going further to the right, we have our law of chemical combination. So muna ni siya ato ang mga basic laws of matter. We have three main laws of chemical combination or laws of matter. First is the law of constant composition. So what does that mean? The law of constant composition tells us that in a given compound, the relative number and kinds of atoms are constants. This sounds very similar to the postulate number 4 of Dalton. It's basically meaning the same thing. So for example, dinhi, if nakay H2O, always, bisag aha pa na siya gikan, whether it came from Dulugon or it came from Zimbabwe or it came from Germany, ang H2O, the compound, will always have duha ka hydrogen and one oxygen. No additional atom of any element, dili po na siya makuhaan. Constant iya ang composition. The second law of matter that we're going to talk about here is the law of conservation of mass. It says here that the total mass of materials present after a chemical reaction is the same as the total mass present before the reaction. So if you have 50 grams of element A or compound A and then 50 grams of compound B before the reaction, dapat after the reaction, kung i-total nimo na silang tanan, you should get a total of 100 grams. Bisan pila pa nakabuok imuhang product sa imong reaction. So let's say you have a reaction that gave us, you have a reaction A plus B, tapos iyahang product will be something like C plus D. But ang gyapon nato nga same tato ang starting amounts of materials. So naa kay a total of 100 grams, 50 grams each. Pero pag abot sa imuhang products, kay ibutang natog naa kay 70 grams of C and then 30 grams of D. Dapat ingon ang law of conservation of mass, dapat daw nga even if maglahi na ang proportion or ang kadaghanon, ang specifics, pero kung i-total na nimo imuhang amounts of products, it should still end up the same sa imuhang starting. So dapat ang beginning o ang end nga total mass sa materials after and before a chemical reaction should be the same. Mao lang na siya ang law of conservation of mass. So kung nag-start ka, imuhang total mass sa imuhang reactants is 100 grams, dapat at the end of the reaction, if i-total nimo tanan iyahang na-produce, dapat 100 grams pod. The last law of chemical combination or basic law of matter that we're going to talk about is the law of multiple proportions. It says here that if two elements A and B combine to form more than one compound, so if na ay duha or more na possible results, the mass of B that can combine with a given mass of A are in a ratio of whole numbers. So what does that mean exactly? So let's say that we've got H2O. Now, if you have H and you have hydrogen and you have oxygen, pwede ka makakuha og H2O, pwede po ka makakuha og H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. So, ingon ang law of multiple proportion, if ing ani ang situation nga naay more than one compound nga possible, the masses of B daw that can combine with a given mass of A should be in a ratio of whole numbers. So in this case, kani ang atong A in this given scenario. So mo ni ato ang given mass of A kani. So kung parehoson daw nimo ang mass sa imuhang element A, imuha daw ang element B, ang amount daw sa element B nga pwede mag-combine sa imuhang element A, if you compare those two amounts, they should be in a whole number ratio. So for H2O, if you have 1 gram of hydrogen, we will be learning how to calculate this ha, pero karon kay wala pa man ta nag-learn how to calculate, just believe me for now. If you have 1 gram of hydrogen, you'll be needing 8 grams, around 8 grams of oxygen to completely use up 1 gram of hydrogen. While sa imuhang H2O2, sa imuhang hydrogen peroxide, kung nakay 1 gram of hydrogen, you need 16 grams of oxygen para ma-completely consume nimo ng 1 gram of hydrogen. If imong i-compare din ang amounts, this is 8 grams versus 16 grams. That is the ratio equal to the ratio of 1:2. So 1 diri versus 2 sa imuhang oxygen. Mo na imuhang ratio sa mass of element B that can combine with a given mass of A. So another example, if we have, say you have carbon and oxygen, you can have carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. Let's say oxygen lang gihapon ato ang kuan, ato ang element B, atong element A would be carbon. So if you have, let's say gihapon 1 gram dinhi, dapat daw ang masses kaning diri nga places, ang masses nga nakabutang dinha, kung imong i-compare silang duha, should be in a whole number ratio. So pwede gyapon 1:2 or 1:3 or uban pa. Dili sa nato i-calculate karon kay we haven't learned that yet. We will get back to this and we will learn how to calculate this. But for now, kanilang gid ato ang basic law of matter. Again, if you have two elements, A and B, that can combine to form more than one compound, so na ay more than one possible compound na mag-result, the mass of B that can combine with a given mass of A should be in a ratio of whole numbers. So ang imo i-combine katong B sa first scenario and katong B sa second scenario. So compare to nimo ang mga amounts of B in those two different scenarios, you should get a whole number ratio. Okay, so let's get to this little exercise or example. You can read this and then pause the video to think of your own answer. We have a compound A that contains 1.333 grams of oxygen per carbon, whereas compound B contains 2.66 grams oxygen per grams carbon. question is, what chemical law does this illustrate? So what do we have? We have our scenario 1 nga naa kay carbon and naa kay oxygen. Per gram carbon man daw. So per 1 gram, na daw kay 1.333 grams of oxygen. And then you have scenario 2, same two elements, pero instead, per 1 gram of carbon, diri ang iyahang oxygen is 2.66. 2.66 grams. Let's look. Let's zoom out to see our three laws of chemical combination or basic laws of matter. Asa dinha sa tulo ka laws ang talk about two scenarios that involve the same two elements. So let's review gamay. Sa law of constant composition, ang ingon niya dito is ang given nga compound, bisan aha pa na siya gikan, bisag aha ang source, you will still have the same relative number and kinds of atoms. So wala siya nag-ingon about two separate scenarios. Iya lang gina-focus is same lang yun daw dapat ang kinds of atoms and then ang number of atoms per element sa kada compound. Sa atong law of conservation of mass, ang iyahang giingon, kung pilay timbang before the reaction, mao po dapat timbang total mass sa imuhang products after the reaction. So atong third dayon atong tan-awan sa law of multiple proportion, if two elements A and B combine, so na-check na ang tong duha ka elements, combine to form more than one compound, na atay duha ka scenario din hi. The mass of B that can combine with a given mass of A per gram of carbon ato ang given mass of A are in a ratio of whole numbers. So kung i-compare nato ning O sa first scenario with O sa second scenario, you have a ratio of 1:2. Okay, 1.33 times 2 is 2.66. So again, let's answer the question, what chemical law does this illustrate? So we'll be putting here law of multiple proportion. And then if you wanna test if kabalo ba jud ka, you can reason out here. Pero kay ganina ato naman siyang reason out. Ato naman gitag sa og review ato ang laws of matter. Mao nang dili na nato isulat atong reasoning dinha. But for quizzes that ask for the reason why, ato lang i-tanawon atong mga law of chemical combination / laws of matter, and then we see if asa ang ma-apply sa situation na gihatag sa atua. Okay, so that's it for our basic laws of matter. Let's move on to the experiments and the discoveries that led to the modern view of the atomic structure. Okay, so the story began with, after Dalton's atomic theory, the story began now with the cathode ray. So what's a cathode ray? So here we have a cathode ray produced in a discharge tube. So this is your discharge tube. This is your discharge tube. Diri gikan ang imong ray paingon siya to the right. So it's traveling from the left to the right. The ray itself daw is invisible pero colored siya nga green kay ang tube mismo kay gi-coat na siya og zinc. Na zinc sulfide sa sulod sa imuhang tube mo ng pag-agi sa imong cathode ray, it looks like it's glowing. So nag-fluoresce siya. Term is fluoresce, like fluorescent light. Oops. Anong na-end? Nag-fluoresce. So mo na siya ang rason nganong ga-fluoresce ang cathode ray sa sulod sa imuhang cathode ray tube and sa imong discharge tube. And then if dirita sa middle sa B, the cathode ray is bent downward when a magnet is brought towards it. Pero kung imong balihon ang magnet, mo-bend siya towards the magnet. So pasabot ana kana imuhang cathode ray naa siya'y charge nga mag-react sa imuhang magnet. If opposite ang charge niya, ang opposite ang charge sa imuhang cathode ray compared to the magnet, then mo-repel siya, mo-bend siya palayo. If opposite ang charge sa imuhang cathode ray compared to the magnet, then mo din kung ma-attract siya dito sa imuhang magnet. So si J.J. Thomson, he took that idea and he applied it with an actual cathode ray tube. Ingani na din iyang setup. So unsa din iyang cathode ray tube nga setup? So same lang gyapon na kay imuhang source, imong cathode diha, na imuhang anode. And then naa rin kay mga magnet na kay magnet nga kani. And then naa rin kay electromagnetic field, external magnetic field din ha, na pug kay electric field. So kani man imong magnet, so mo imong magnetic field, kani din imuhang electric field. Wait, that's too much color. So let me repeat it para clear. This is your electric field. And then this is your magnetic field. So gi-apply day na siya diha sa imong setup. Now, what happens was that if magnet lang ang iyahang ipaandar, ang mahitabo is that ang iyahang cathode ray will bend here, will follow that path. So mupalayo siya pataas. Dayon, if i-off niya ang magnetic field, electric field lang ang iyahang i-apply kanilang, kibali, mo-bend siya downwards. Pero if walay magnetic field or electric field ang i-apply, it will just flow straight following path B. So, gi-describe dayon ni J.J. Thomson, gi-describe niya ni nga cathode rays as negatively charged particles. So, it's not just a ray, but the ray is made up of negatively charged particles. Mao na dayon ni ang birth sa particles that we call now as electrons. So, mao na niya itong nahibalaan nga electrons. From this experiment, he devised or he formulated the plum pudding model. So, unsa na as a plum pudding model? It's a positively charged sphere. So, this whole green thing is made up of positive charges. And then, naalang daw dayoy mga ginagmay pipila ka mga electrons embedded in a positively charged sphere. If you like mga Pinoy pastries like the binangkal, tong gahi nga nay mga sesame seeds, you can think of the sesame seeds as the electrons, and then everything else dayon kay ang positive na dayon nga charge. Mo na ang gihatag gi-contribute ni J.J. Thomson sa field. Following that came Millikan's drop experiment. So, na-discover naman ang existence sa electrons. So, mo na day na nahimong next nga focus of the study. So, what happened in Millikan's drop experiment is that he wanted to measure the charge of the electrons. Kabaluta, at that point, nga negatively charged siya. Pero pila, positive 2, or negative 2, negative 2, negative 100, negative 0.0005. So to get the actual figures, Millikan performed this experiment. So using a murag sprayer or no nebulizer para ma-atomize ato ang para very fine spray ang oils. You get now the oil drops, and then naatay plate with a very small hole over here. It's very small. It's very small to the extent that tag-isa lang ang oil drops nga mahulog at a time. And then once mahulog na tong oil drops, mag-emit dayog X-ray perpendicular to the direction of the oil drops. So pag maigo manggud tong imuhang oil drops sa imuhang X-ray, maka-receive siya extra nga electrons ito imuhang oil drops. So it will become negatively charged. Ang ginabuhat dayon ni Melican kay if kani imong oil drops naka-receive na og electrons gikan sa imuhang X-ray, dili na ni siya mag-touch diri kay negatively charged man nga plate diri sa ubos, ma-attract siya balik dito paingon sa taas. Mao na ni gakahitabo here. So these drops that are going back upwards are attracted to the positively charged plate nga nasa taas. Katong mga wala na igo sa imong X-rays will continue falling downwards kay ma-attract sila diri sa negatively charged na plate. Ang gina-measure dayon ni Melican is the change in the voltage nga naka-affect sa rate sa pagkatagak sa imuhang oil drops. So, gikan din ha, iyaha din gi-calculate ang mass sa imuhang electrons. Mao ni ang mass sa electrons kay na-calculate 9.10 times 10 to the 28 grams, which is very close to the currently accepted value, 9.10. Oops. 9.10. Di siya masulat. I'm having technical problems, sorry. Anyway, it should be 9.10. 938 times 10 to the 28 grams. Ingana siya kagamay og mass. Negative 28 ang exponent. And then the charge is calculated to be 1.602 times 10 to the negative 19 coulombs. So now we finally have the actual charge and the mass of the electrons. While that was happening, in 1896, Becquerel was studying uranium. And then Marie and Pierre Curie has discovered uranium to be radioactive. So na spontaneous radiation emission nga gakahitabo. So muna siya ang radioactivity. So once na-discover ni na Pierre and Marie Curie ang existence sa radioactivity, Ernest Rutherford furthered the study. So dito na po nag-focus ang studies. In particular, iyang studihan ang lahi-lahi nga mga rays in an electric field. So naa siya radioactive substance, gibutang niya og container nga encased iyang container is made up of lead para dili makagawas ang radiation. Gibutangan lang din niya gamay nga buslot. Tapos iyahang ipaagi ang ray sa electrical plates. So na negatively charged sa baba, positively charged nga plate sa taas. Kung i-off ang plate, hanggang sa erase para makita na ang charges. Kung i-off daw ang negative nga part, ug ang positive na part walay ka kahitabo sa imong rays. And then if i-on ang duha, makita na dayon tag scatter. Nada yung scatter nga kahitabo. Na i-scatter pataas, which would be the rays nga attracted to the positive na area. Na ay rays nga na bend pababa, which are those rays which are attracted to the negatively charged plate. And naapoy rays nga straight lang as if gi-off ang positive o negative nga plate. So wala siya charge, kaya wala man siya naapektuhan sa positive and negative na plates. So this is how we know that the alpha rays are positively charged, the beta rays are negatively charged, and then the gamma rays has no charge at all. So in fact, ang ato ang um, alpha rays are, excuse me, ihang charge is positive 2, tapos ato ang beta rays is charged with a negative 1 charge. Tapos ato ang gamma rays are like X-rays bitaw nga it's just made up of high energy, not particles. So mo nang wala siya charge. It's not made of particles at all. While ang ato ang alpha rays are the fast rays, ang ato ang beta kaning ato ang negatively charged nga beta rays are basically high speed radioactive electrons nga na negative charge kay electrons gani na sila negative charge. Following that, Rutherford also applied the knowledge of the rays in his alpha scattering experiment. So he took the positively charged nga alpha rays. So nanatay source karon sa atong alpha particles. Iyahang gipa-emit og ray. And then you have a gold foil over here and then sensor ni siya. Fluorescent, circular fluorescent screen nga mag-serve as a sensor. So ang assumption, ang hypothesis is that following considering the plum pudding model, dapat unta positively charged ni siya, wala kaayo deflection nga mahitabo. Kay wala may anything solid nga maka-deflect at the time sa tunga. Yeah. Anyway, so nana kay alpha particles, dapat unta, the thought was that uniform unta ang iyahang deflection. Mo sulod ang imuhang beam of particles and then kanilang unta ang iyahang usual na path. Siguro mag-differ lang ginagmay. Considering the plum pudding model nga put forward ni J.J. Thomson. But what happened was that Ernest Rutherford noticed the existence of these rays. Very large deflection. So naay dagko kaayo nga difference in angle compared aning uban nga mga rays. So unsa pasabot ana? Naay na-encounter ang alpha particles nga something very relatively solid nga nakapa-bounce back sa iyaha, nag-deflect sa iyaha pabalik. So dili siya empty space lang. Kaya ang ingon dito sa plum pudding model, positively charged space lang ang naa, and then naada yung ginagmay nga dots of negatively charged particles. So ang gibuhat ni Rutherford dayon, iyahang gipropose ang nuclear model of the atom. So sa nuclear model, naa daw kay nucleus. Mao niya to ang nuclear atomic model. So sa nuclear atomic model, you have something very solid sa center. Mon, mo na siya to ang nucleus nga made up of protons and neutrons. And then all the rest is a cloud of electrons. So negatively charged ang mga galibot-libot din hiya. Ang sa center dayon is made up of our proton. So we got proton na positively charged, and then ato ang neutron. And ato ang neutron. So mo ni sila ang parts na din sa atong nuclear atomic model. Following that, with the increase of scientific knowledge, mga ginagmay nga increase both in physics and chemistry, we came to conclude that ing-ani ato ang modern atomic model na dayon. So naatay nucleus containing the protons and the electrons, and then the volume of the occupied electrons. So maglahi-lahi na area nga dako kaayo ta og possibility nga makakita tag electrons, na area nga gamay ra ang possibility nga makakita tag electrons. It's represented by unsa ka defined ang color kay mo ni siyang gradient ni siya. Okay, the lighter the color, the lower the possibility nga makakita kag electrons dira ang area. The darker the color, mas dako og possibility nga makakita kag electrons dira na area sa atom. For measurements, ang usual na ginagamit when we're talking about atom sizes, ang usual na ginagamit na unit is angstrom. Ang usual manggod nga diameter sa isa ka atom is somewhere around 1 times 10. 1 times 10 to the negative 10 meters, which is equal to, oops, let me get a actual pen, which is equal to 100. There's something wrong with my pad today. 100 meters. 100 picometers. So money minimum, and then largest recorded was around 10. 5 times 10 to the negative 10 meters, which is equal to 500. Give me one moment. Sorry. 500 picometers. Tanan na sila is yung exponent 10 to the 10. So to simplify that, naatay unit na gitawag nato angstrom. More siya og A nga naailingin sa taas. Angstrom. So 1 angstrom is equal to 1 times 10 to the negative 10 meters. So kani, oops. So kani, this will be 1 angstrom, and then this will be 5 angstroms. Okay. So that's where the application of angstrom will be used. So mga ginagmay kay nga units usually talking about atomic sizes. So again, to recap, ang atong subatomic particles are protons, which are positively charged, neutrons, which has no charge, kana silang duha, nagtipok, very compact together, forming the nucleus of our atom, and then our electron will be moving in a randomly represented as a cloud around our nucleus. Atong electrons are negatively charged. So imuhang nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons, di ba? So, na kay positively charged, imong nucleus na kay positive na charge, and imong neutrons is zero. So, imong nucleus is also positively charged. So, that's it for the atomic discovery of the atomic structure of the atom. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or to message the group chat for any clarifications. If you have any complaints at all, please do email me. You guys know my email. If you have any questions, tag me in the GC. But for now, this is the end of part 1, and I'll see you guys in the video for part 2.